Good evening, good afternoon. I don't know. I don't think we have a country in Africa that has a time zone that is in the morning right now. But good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the African Youth Pulse check-in. My name, as always, is Sebastian Segawa Ivan Sebastian, and you guys know today I just came to talk about the ULEAD Summit. It is the eve of the ULEAD Summit. The summit is happening in Nairobi, the Bomas of Kenya. It is happening tomorrow, and we are excited. We are ecstatic. I am excited to say that a couple of delegations have come in. We have an amazing lineup of speakers. We have an amazing program lined up. But before I unpack all that, you guys know the modus operandi that actually we value creative arts. And before we dive in, I just want to play you the ULEAD Africa song, and then I'll play you, as always, the message of the Secretary General of the East African Community. You guys know that he's one of the co-conveners of this summit, and then we shall proceed to unpack exactly what is going to be the ULEAD Summit. I'm very excited. I'm hoping that a few colleagues from the Bomas of Kenya are going to be joining us to share with us exactly how the arrangements are going on, and hopefully we get an appreciation for the physical delegates that are going to be down in Nairobi on how tomorrow is going to be unpacked. But for now, the ULEAD song.
Tusonga mbele mama Afrika, Afrika, Tusonga mbele mama Afrika, Afrika,
Kwa favor, Africa. Mwishani wote. Bonjour.
from country to country, yeah, we gotta work together. We are leaders now, aiming higher for the better. Together, to make our nations greater, by sharing to empower. So you lead, I lead, we lead together. So you lead, I lead, we lead together. We will lead, we will lead. Let your dream be a reality. We will lead, we will lead. Let your dream be a reality.
Yo, listen, together we shape young men and women. With the pillars, with the future, here we are. Let's join together with ability to change communities, with love, with peace, to respond to our need, to call for unity. Africa, hear me cry. Never leave me alone. As I see light in a brighter future, let's join hands for youth and women. Let's join hands for youth and
So you
women.
lead, I lead, we lead together. So you lead, I lead, we lead together. We will lead, we will lead. Let your dream be a reality. We will lead, we will lead. Let your dream be a reality.
Yeah, vijana wa Afrika wote waungana, vijana vijana kutoka mashariki, magharibi, kaskazini na kusini, hata na kati, twaja pamoja ili tufanye nini?
So you lead, I lead, we lead together. So you lead, I lead, we lead together. We will lead, we will lead. Let your dream be a reality. We will lead, we will lead. Let your dream be a reality.
Hello, Kunjani. Sana Chibakai. Kiana. Bravo. Amahoro. Mambo.
And there you have it, the ULEAD song to usher us into the fever of the ULEAD Summit. Okay, So very quickly, I was sharing earlier that a couple of things are happening. We are expecting a couple of people to join us, but for now, I just want to tell you guys, the ULEAD Summit is up on us. We have thousands of you, hundreds of you that registered for the summit. We are so grateful that you answered to the call to be part of the ULEAD Summit. A couple of you were able to pay the registration fees that were $50. Unfortunately, for majority of the people that were unable to pay on time, we do not take cash on arrival, and therefore, for those of you that were unable to complete the registration requirements, and that was, of course, applying on time and then also paying the registration fees on time, we shall be providing a virtual space for us to be able to attend ULEAD. For those of you that have followed our journey, you know that in 2020, ULEAD became a hybrid summit. And from then up until today, we always have an inculcation, a consideration for people both on ground and for those that are unable to travel. And just to reaffirm or to give confidence to those of you that were unable to meet the registration requirements at the time of the deadline, I want to tell you that yours truly will also be joining the summit in a virtual nature. I will be one of the virtual participants this year, and I am pumped, guys. I'm excited. But for now, for those that don't know about the ULEAD Summit, the ULEAD Summit is Africa's Youth Leadership Summit, and it is co-convened first by the former president of the United Republic of Tanzania, but also the patron of ULEAD Africa. He was chosen in 2020. Yes, in 2020. I'm sure that we shall soon be changing patron, but for now, His Excellency Jakaya Mrisho Kikwete is one of the co-conveners of the summit, of course, together with Honorable Dr. Peter Mathuki, the Secretary General of the East African Community. The two co-conveners will be at the Bomas of Kenya tomorrow morning to welcome the delegates of the ULEAD Summit coming from far and wide, from all over Africa. I know for a fact that the delegation in Uganda that was supported by the National Youth Council arrived this afternoon in Nairobi. We expect the chairperson of the National Youth Council, who facilitated this travel of these youth from the Pearl of Africa, to join us shortly to share the vision and the intention of the National Youth Council in supporting these young people. Of course, we all know that, but it is nice to hear it from the horse's mouth. We also expect people, like I mentioned, I am a virtual delegate, so I'm just as excited to see what Bomas of Kenya is looking like right now. And you know that the team is working tooth and nail to ensure that the last minute nitty-gritties are handled so that everyone that is going to be there tomorrow reaches and everything is seamless. We start with registration and then we shall go into sessions. And before I unpack the sessions for you, I just have a message from our co-convener, Honorable Dr. Peter Mathuki.
Dr. Peter Mutuku Mathuki, Secretary General of the East African Community. Today I was hosting the National Youth Council's chairpersons and indeed all the youth, and they are carrying a very important message of peace, especially peace in elections in Kenya and indeed peace in the entire East Africa. And we want to encourage the youth to carry that banner of calling for peace, but also participating in policy issues and matters that affect integration in our community. Thank you.
Yes, this is a little throwback to tell you that we are one and in person. We do have the support and backing of the East African community, who are the co-conveners of this summit. And that was Dr. Peter Mathuki last year, when he was calling for the peaceful engagement of young people in the elections of Kenya. And for those of you, again, that might not know how we ended up in Kenya, is that ULEAD has such a transparent way of handling where the summit is held. So much that when the summit goes on, the summit goes for 5 days, the whole week, but the last day, And this is a big call to all of you that kept consulting. How did we end up in Nairobi? The last day of the summit, a call is put out, and this call is again hybrid for the people that are physical in Nairobi. And then for those of us that are not going to be physical in Nairobi, a call for where the next ULEAD summit will be made at the end of this week. And depending on how many people choose a destination, we might end up somewhere in Southern Africa. I am rooting for the summit to come to Kampala. Of course, I am biased. Bring the summit to Kampala. Let's show you what the Pearl of Africa has to offer. But all I'm saying is, please look out when that call is made. Select a city of your preference, a destination of your preference, and next year the summit will be coming to you. Away from that, I also a lot of things are going on tomorrow morning, just before we enter summit venues. For those of you that are going to be joining from far and wide, yes, we have a plot before the plot. And this plot is we shall be having His Excellency Dr. Jakaya Mrisho Kikwete, again, former President of the United Republic of Tanzania, and also the ULEAD Africa patron. He will be live in the Situation Room at KTN. He will also be live on KTN News, and he will be live on Spice FM tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. So for those of you that are able to tune in, this His Excellency will be speaking on the topic of youth leadership and democracy, the Africa we want. And you colleagues know that this is very consistent with what we are going to be discussing in the summit. We'll also be sharing more about the summit and what to be expected there. This will be streaming live on the YouTube channel of KTN, of Spice FM, and KTN News. So I invite all of you to tune in. But for now, hear me out, guys. I want to just share with you briefly what to expect tomorrow and the coming days. Okay. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to project this, but you can count on me reading it for you. I'm just picking the program off my phone. If you do not have the program of ULEAD Africa, of the ULEAD Summit 2023, please go to our website, and while there you will be able to review the website. To review the program, see who is speaking and which sessions they are speaking in. But as always, you guys know the program runs on day one. We shall have conversations on youth in politics, and we shall start with the Under 40 Political Leaders Forum. The Under 40 Political Leaders Forum, and then we also had the ESC Youth Fellowship. If you didn't know that, for the first of its kind, apologies, we do have a guest, so I will interact with you, Joe. Thank you so much for joining in. I will be engaging in a bit, but first I was sharing briefly about the fellowship. For those of you that attended the summit of 2020 and 2021, you remember that we had very, very deep conversations and consultations around what leadership youth in East Africa want. And youth largely shared that they felt that most of the leadership programs were not homegrown, and they felt that we needed something that was more indigenous. Hence the creation of the ESC Youth Fellowship. The fellowship is supported by different partners. We do have definitely the East African Community and MS Training Center for Development Corporation. You guys know that those are the mother organizations of ULEAD Africa. And then we have the Jakaya Mrisho Kikwete Foundation, which is the foundation of our patron. We do have ELF Africa, which works out of Nairobi and does a lot of leadership trainings in Kenya. They're doing amazing work, our partners, ELF Africa. We also have the Julius Nyerere Leadership Center, which is a presidential initiative that is hosted by Makerere University in Kampala and the Uganda Management Institute. And the center is also very heavy on engaging and training young people on. Okay, I see Joel has been so kind to share the program. Very well, Joel. Thank you so much. But the center has been vital and center stage at taking into account leadership training for young leaders in East Africa. specifically for Uganda. The center is working on building capacity of leaders, starting with those in higher institutions of learning. So in universities, in tertiary institutions. And I am glad to say that I am part of the facilitation team that works with the center together with different people in academia. We have a couple of professors on the facilitation team, a couple of people in business, experts on mental health. It is a range. It is a range. And it is exciting to see that the center also joined us to be part of the partners that were delivering the ESC Youth Fellowship. We do have the DFC, the Danida Fellowship. We do have the Swiss Development Corporation that also supported in putting this fellowship together. So for the first time, we had the inaugural ESC Youth Fellowship happening. It has been running since October. It has been running for 2 months now with different sessions. We had a 2-week session that happened in Nairobi last month. And after that session, we released the fellows back into their communities. We had tremendous feedback on the good work they were doing. The fellows went and did a couple of media tours. They did a couple of outreach programs to share and also showcase what they had learned when they were in Arusha. And this is what we talk about when we say that when something good happens to you, please pay that forward, because it is through that paying forward that we appreciate that trickle-down effect of the good work that we are trying to do. So tomorrow we shall be having the ESC Youth Fellows also make a presentation. I know that they have a petition that they are hoping to share tomorrow during the summit that will be happening. But before we continue into the work of the summit, I just want to invite you, Joe, and just say hello to us and exactly where you are and what you are doing now. Joe.
Hello, Sebastian. How are you?
I'm very well. I don't know whether you're comfortable turning on your camera. We would appreciate putting a face to the voice.
Can you hear me? I think it's clear enough.
Very.
Oh, sorry, I interrupted your presentation. I just wanted to showcase the program that you're discussing. So nothing much.
And first tell us where you are, how you are, what are your thoughts about the upcoming summit? Of course, there is much.
Well, I highly anticipate the summit that is starting tomorrow. My name is Joseph. I am in Kenya, currently in Nairobi. I'm hoping to be joining you tomorrow and probably in the rest of the week. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm part of the communications team, volunteer team.
Thank you so much. Yes. Thank you, Joe. Joe is joining us to support on the communications. You guys know that we put out a call of volunteers. A lot of you were able to apply, and we do appreciate the efforts. Joe and a few other colleagues were able to take on the slots because we had a limited number of volunteers that we could take on, although we do appreciate. I think we had nearly 300 of you applying to be volunteers, and we needed under 50 volunteers, but we are extremely grateful for that. Thank you, Joe, and we shall come back to the program. But for now, I just want to jump briefly to my colleague, Kemi. Kemi, are you able to hear us? As Kemi connects.
Hi, Sebastian. Hi.
Hi.
Sorry, there's a bit of background noise. We are at Bomas of Kenya at the venue of the summit, and there's just a lot of setup stuff going on, but we're really excited about it.
Same here.
Yeah, I don't know if the team can just say hi. Say hi, guys.
Hi. Ooh. Okay. That
Yeah.
looks beautiful. That looks well said.
Yeah, it's looking good. It's looking good. We're excited. Just trying to get everything in place for tomorrow.
All right. Thank you, Kemi, for giving us a snippet. I know that you are swamped down there, and I will let you go now. But we are grateful that you are able to join us, and hope to see you tomorrow.
Definitely. Looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow for the ULEAD Summit.
All right. Cheers, Kemi. And now I will jump to Jacob, Mr. Chair. Jacob, did I lose you? Great. Welcome to Nairobi. Karibu Nairobi, Science Chair.
Asante sana ndugu, habari yako?
I see you have polished up on your Swahili.
Ah,
This is a good step towards
hapana.
integration, sir.
This is African language.
Joe, I want you to police Jacob's Kiswahili. Should it fall by any standard, please let me know.
Joe ni
Jacob, you're
nani?
doing well. You're doing well.
Habari yako?
Mzuri sana. Yako?
Aha.
Yako iko vipi?
Unaweza kusema Kiswahili wewe?
Ati vipi?
All right.
By
Aha.
the way, you know the Kenyan Swahili is not as pure as the Tanzanian Swahili. So maybe there are words that might say that might not really look good on the Tanzanian side.
Just
Well, Joe, I
tell
don't know.
Seba that the one I am Tanzanian. Just confirm.
That is the correct one.
Joe, I don't know how you're going to handle the Kenyans that have had you make this concession, but okay. Anyways, for those of you watching us and don't know Jacob, Jacob is among very many things the chairperson of the National Youth Council. And before he joined in, I was sharing Jacob that the National Youth Council, for the second year running, supported a team of delegates that came out of Kampala. I just wanted you to brief us on how many people you were able to support and what was the constitution of the team that you are sending to the summit.
Thank you. First and foremost, it's a pleasure to be in Nairobi. It's a beautiful city, at least on the Sunday. We'll see how the roads look tomorrow, but it's a great time to be alive. When ULEAD is shifting for the first time from Arusha to Nairobi, and I'm very happy that we're in the shift. Yes, for the second year running, the National Youth Council came to join forces with the ULEAD leadership and ensure success in terms of the participation of those under our mandate, and that's the Ugandan youth population. This year, we've been able to support a total of about 24 people come to the summit, young people from Uganda. That 24 doesn't include me, to be clear. But even more young people have come to the summit through other means. So the Ugandan delegation is big as usual. The of the National Youth Council remains profoundly exhibited in the 24 that will be joining the summit. They have already checked into Nairobi. They have had a taste of the good Kenyan food, and good Kenyan food means ugali in the menu, and they've had that for lunch with some more things that went right for them here in Karen. But it's a beautiful day in Nairobi. It's great to be here, and more importantly, it's great to connect. I think I saw that this summit, for the very first time, will have the leadership of the Democratic Republic of Congo. That is something amazing. The National Youth Council represents a population bigger than the population of Uganda, to put that into perspective. So that, I look forward to the conversations, and I look forward to what's going to be the sessions.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Science Chair, for sharing that. And rightly so, yes, we are drawing participation from all over Africa, and specifically for the DRC, that is the newest entrant to the EAC, we do have the National Youth Council Executive Secretary joining us for the panel, which, by the way, Jacob here is also going to be sitting on. I'm excited to listen in on that one. And like I said, for all of you that are in the comment section wondering how you're going to be following this, just like me, we are going to be receiving a link that will enable us join the virtual session. But for now, I am going to be dropping, because that very virtual session I've talked about needs to be tested so that tomorrow it is seamless. So I just want to make my appreciation. Thank you so much, Kemi, for joining in, giving us a snippet of the great bombers of Kenya. I must say, I was there last year when I was observing the Kenyan election, and that place is amazing. Planes fly over you here. So for those of us that have not that were not accustomed to planes so much, it was quite the view, quite the experience. But also, it is so much greenery. It is so much space. It is such a place to interact, such a place to network. All right, Chairman, we hope to see you tomorrow. Joe, hope to see you tomorrow at
Well,
the Bomas of Kenya.
you'll see me tomorrow. You'll see me tomorrow. And you know, you've said everything about Bomas of Kenya. You have not said the most important. It's also where they declared the president. So, with all these young people gathering, they could pick from Bomas of Kenya to go back and run for presidencies. I know that.
It has so much history. Yeah.
Well,
yeah. It has so much history.
for those of you that
But
thought
also
you'd be
it has
lacking,
so many. It has so many things, including wildlife. So
Yeah.
I'm very.
There's a park just across it.
amazing.
Yeah.
So, guys, there you have it. And for those of you that thought you will be lacking in inspiration for leadership, Jacob here is already propelling you to be presidents. But from us at the One Young Africa and all our partners delivering this summit, we hope to see you tomorrow, and we are very excited. To close this off, I want to say happy ULEAD week that is incoming. Cheers and have a good night.